Now the gyrosphere on your left-hand side. No glass. That's because it was all computer-generated image into the movie, so the actors could breathe, and you don't have the reflection of the camera. Now, Transformers tank on your left looks pretty great. It's about 75% plywood, though, so I would not recommend taking that into battle anytime soon. But speaking of Jurassic Park and Jurassic World, they are making the attraction Jurassic World that is replacing the Jurassic Park ride. It's going to be here later in the year for the park, so keep an eye out. Now on your right hand side we have the Mercedes, left hand side we got the Jeep, we got lots of mobile labs, and a lot of empty dinosaur cages.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
Empty dinosaur cages. On your left-hand side, these mobile labs are in fact 75% plywood. That's actually for stunts like this one, so that they're more lightweight. So this is actually the side of a parking structure. It's behind stage 21. And if you take note, hold that thought. I found the dinosaurs. Here they are. On to your next. Now if you take note, it's dark, scary, and raining. It's enhancing the mood, right? Weather is its own silent character. And the folks who actually made these trees here left-hand side are the folks who changed that parking structure into a mountain. Those are actually just chicken wire, styrofoam, painted and dressed look like trees. They have giant wheels on the base so that they're easily mobile. But back to the scene. Weather, right? I don't know much about weather, so I'm actually just consulting weather professional, Mr. Al Roker from the Today Show.
Hi everybody, here's today's forecast for the Universal Backlot. It's going to be sunny and dry in 6 Points, Texas. Cool and cloudy in Little Europe. Expect snow and sleet on New York Street. And we've got a high chance of fog and precipitation for Skull Island, Amity Island, and Isla Nublar.
Now, thank you very much, Mr. Roker. Welcome to Old Mexico. We're going to have a little weather demonstration here. Now, inside one of these buildings, a tech team together, whenever they're ready, they're going to press some buttons to activate our storm. We'll start off with some lightning and thunder, courtesy of some string lights, and some sound effects.
Look at that baby.
Action. Now, let's cue the rain, and whenever you guys are ready, let's make it rain. Action. Now those are sprinkler systems, very high tech, shoots the water up into the air. What goes up must come down, falling naturally. We're where the camera goes, so we're dry. And the best part of this, the creative control. So if you need to stop, start, do a take 55 times, you can do so in a timely manner. Don't have to rely on Mother Nature. Alright, you guys get the idea. You can actually cut the rain down. Hello? Cut the rain now? I think they went to lunch. The last time they did that, this happened. At this exact moment, thousands of gallons of recycled water drop in the tanks just around the corner. It goes down the hill under the bridge and shablam! Flash flood. By the way, this is the halfway mark at the door. If there's an emergency, just pull that cord. Otherwise, we'll keep on trucking. Now, you might have seen Paul Giamatti's stunt double take quite the tumble down this, a big fat liar.
We'll see about that.
Once again, lots of really cool cars for this car show on your left-hand side. Now, the area where those folks are in, that is our 6 Points, Texas. Now, last summer, Quentin Tarantino actually spent most of the summer filming his new movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, all over this area to your left. So once it hits theaters, you're going to see this everywhere.
This town ain't big enough for the both of us, Jimmy Fallon.
Well, I ain't going anywhere, Jimmy Fallon.
Now look here. Nice folks in this tram don't want no trouble. They just want to check out 6 Points, one of the oldest sets on the Universal line.
I hear this is where John Wayne and Jimmy Stewart shot and killed their Western.
That's right. That's where I aim to shoot you.
Looks like we got ourselves a Mexican standoff. Lucky shot.
Now what say you mount up and get out of town while the getting's good?
All right. Well, I'll see you again, fella.
Oh, you can count on it, fella. Now get.
This is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
We just have to talk it out, that's all.
Now to your left-hand side, this is our park lake, but you might know it as another name. The Creature from the Black Lagoon filmed out there, classic movies like Showboat. And earlier today I showed you the Good Place clip. But we're actually going to be passing by where they film our Little Europe.
Please, all the men you can, lock the women indoors and wait for me.
I'm ready! Take your torches and go!
Now Little Europe will be popping up on the left-hand side. Quasimodo hung out in the center. The Court of Miracles for the Hunchback. Frankenstein. As I mentioned, the monster movie. Very big in Universal.
When we think of Universal, we think of monsters.
Dracula, Frankenstein,
Wolfman,
Bride of Frankenstein,
The Mummy,
The Hunchback of Notre Dame,
The Invisible Man,
Phantom of the Opera.
classic films. They're just brilliantly made.
Now, just past these trailers on your left, Home and Family, which is a Hallmark Channel show, shoots Monday through Fridays, but they are off today, so we're going to be going into a stage 50, which never changes. Always looks like this. Subway scene, here it is on Bones.
He looks very upset.
When I talked to him, he said the guy died in his arms.
You guys with the FBI?
FBI, yeah, we're here about the human remains.
That's him. Right over there.
You alright?
Now, when this episode aired, this was set in Washington, D.C. But, as you can see, the signage has changed. We are in San Francisco. We got a Golden Gate Park sign. We got a San Francisco sign. But if you want to change the location, you can do it very easily. You can make it Chicago with the L, London with the 2, or here in LA with the Metro by just swapping out that signage. Takes 5 seconds. Now, 99% soundproof about this soundstage. What is that? Select California Travel. Now, as I was saying just a few minutes ago. Testing. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Breathe in and down. We survive. Oh no, we had some product to the right. You might have seen this appearance. Or the same episode of Bones. Alright, so you guys get the idea, right? We don't need to relive that anxiety. We're going to move forward. Now we're actually going to be passing by the oldest street on the entire backlot, Denver Street, to your left. Classics like Winchester 73 filmed down there. And just beyond it, an adorable coastal town on the Ebony Islands. You might have heard of this movie called Jaws, a little independent film. Now, years ago, the poor folks in Amity had a bit of a shark problem. But these days, my good friend George is in the water patrolling, make sure all those folks are safe. I'll introduce you. Now, keep those eyes peeled if you see ripples in the water. That is George. Well, let's see. I don't see him. No ripples. Maybe he's on his lunch break. That's, of course, the shark that's hanging up to your right. Uh-oh. Shut it down. I'm not good at math, but 1 George plus 1 shark equals disaster. Hopefully he's not there, though. Spoke too soon. George, swim away from the shark. He's coming straight towards you. Oh no, he's tearing you apart. Oh no. George, wait. Bye-bye. And we're gonna do the same. And I don't know about you guys. I'm getting a lot of heebie-jeebie feelings to the right-hand side of this tram. My spidey senses are tingling. And does anyone else feel a little, what's happening over there? Now that is Bruce. He is modeled after the actual Bruce, also not Bruce. But on the first day of production, they called him Claus because he sinks straight down to the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. Ideally, he was built for freshwater, so when they put him in saltwater, he went a little crazy.
That's a much maligned shark. The shark was frustrated. It didn't really work all the time. It didn't work hardly at all. Wherever you were on the island, you could hear the radio waves. They were always saying, the shark is not working. Repeat, the shark is not working.
We just waited and waited. We just waited and waited and waited.
The shark worked well enough for a while there and things have gone on. So I feel the shark a lot.
Now to your left-hand side, that is a very famous coastal town of Cabot Cove and a popular TV show, Murder, She Wrote. We're going to be passing by a lot of nice neighborhoods now. Plenty to choose from on our backlot. Now, first up is Elm Street, home to TV shows like Parenthood, The Mindy Project, also classic movies like To Kill a Mockingbird, coming up on your left. Now, directly across the way, perched on this hill to your right, is the Chicken Ranch. Lots of TV shows like Quantum Leap, movie musicals. And right next door is Colonial Street, which is actually home to a whole bunch of classic TV shows. The Hardy Boys' Nancy Drew is also known as Wisteria Lane on Desperate Housewives. If you're a fan of the show, get those cameras ready. We're going to go visit those ladies right now. All right, so first up, we have the Harvey home and the Cream and Whites, the imaginary bunny. Right next door, the original Munster home in the purple, 1313 Mockingbird Lane. Terry Hatcher lives right next door, Susan on the show. Also the Hardy Boy home. The Leave It to Beaver house from the movie on your right-hand side. TV show set elsewhere on our property. We also have this lovely Craftsman coming up on your right. It's actually used for a lot of Ace Hardware commercials. There's about 10 to 12 commercials I've seen airing that have used this street. Very popular area. Suburbia often called for, and a whole bunch of scripts. If you've been watching Abby's on NBC, very end of the block, we have Abby's House. It is a multi-cam sitcom that films in the backyard, which is kind of cool. Now you'll notice both ends of Wisteria Lane / Colonial Street are curved quite dramatically. That's to make it look like it goes on for forever when you're watching from home. They actually expanded into the cul-de-sac after the very first season of Desperate Housewives because the show was so popular. They knew that they were going to be using this set for years to come.
If there is one thing everyone in suburbia can appreciate, it's a good neighbor.
What the heck? Let's go fast.
So as I said, very traditional neighborhood, very cookie cutter, but now that we've seen enough of that, we're currently on our way to a very non-traditional neighborhood of Whoville. A few things to point out before that: Dominic Toretto's Charger on your left from the Fast and Furious films, and the wooded area also used in Bird Box with Sandra Bullock.
One of the biggest creative challenges that we faced on How the Grinch Stole Christmas was to bring the storybook world of Dr. Seuss to life. Some of the most talented artists in Hollywood worked for months to create a living, breathing Whoville. When it was all done, they had built an entire city. And the fantasy world of Dr. Seuss became a reality.
You're the one, Mr. Grinch.
You're as cuddly as a cactus, and as charming as an eel, Mr. Grinch.
You're a bad banana with a greasy black teeth.
Now, if you've seen the movie, remember this scene. We're actually rolling up to the very same set pieces on our right.
Hey, Daddy, sweetie.
And if you guys thought that the Grinch was their worst neighbor, pick again. Now, right next door, two of the scariest set pieces in all of Hollywood and iconic. Psycho stars Janet Leigh and Anthony Perkins. Be careful when you're in this area.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
And speak of the devil, Norman Bates, Tram Friends, Norman Bates. How you doing, Norm? Everything okay? Now, just between you and me, is Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs crazy? So